Well, it's finally here. Blanket number 4. If you remember, I started out this year with the idea, and so far it seems to be working on 4 blankets basically at one time. In other words, blanket 1 one week, blanket 2 the next week, blanket 3 the next week, and now I'm ready to reveal to you blanket number 4. This is going to be a small piece of the Desert Cactus Mosaic blanket. There will be a link for you down in the description box for all 4 blankets that I am working on. But this is the start of the Desert Cactus Mosaic blanket. And I'm going to pop up a picture here for you in just a minute so that you can remember what the blanket looked like. Isn't that a beautiful, beautiful blanket? Now, of course, I'm attracted to it because not only are there different patterns, throughout, but also the colors. Because, folks, I'm a West Texas girl, and yes, it's pretty dry and not a lot of greenery, I guess you could say, but God has blessed that part of Texas with other things such as beautiful cactus, hills, really not mountains, but hills that we can see off in the distance, beautiful colors of terracotta and purple and pink, and I mean, it is very, very pretty out there. Now, that's one reason why I was attracted to this blanket. So what I have for you today is the start. I was able to complete, let me see, 25 rows. But let me just show you, and I'll show you what I've got so far, and then I'll talk to you about my little hiccup here. So here is the design of the very first part of it. It's that bottom row there, because remember, in Mosaic we always start from the bottom up. Now, I did not use either one of the color palettes or color suggestions because I'm working with the Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. It is 100% acrylic, so I matched up the colors the best I could. Now I'm working with this cream color here, and I substituted with cinnamon for the offset color here, which is what is giving me the pattern. And the blanket will be built with the cream color throughout the whole blanket. And I was pretty good in matching up the colors for the blanket. Now it is shown in 2 different color palettes. And what I mean by that is the one I'm working off of, as you see in the photo, is very bright and bold colors. Now there is a second color pattern that you can choose in which the colors are much more muted. They don't just stand out in your face, if you know what I mean. So that's the color palette I'll be working with. Now, as you notice, I did not get all of that pattern section completed because, like I said, I ran into a hiccup. But let me tell you one of the things that I love about this pattern, folks. This is called an interlocking pattern, in which you start from, you do 1 row, chain 1, turn, and go right back. So you're working two rows in the same color. And I want to show you that besides my strings here that I have for the 2 colors that I am carrying up along the side, at the moment I only have 2 tails. That's all I have, folks, right now to weave in. What a wonderful thing it is, let me tell you, because all you have to do is, like I said, you chain 1 and turn, which is where I'm getting ready to turn and come back on this row, and then all you do is you just carry your yarn up the side. And when you put your border on it, this is going to, get covered up anyway with your border. So folks, there's not all that weaving in of the ends, because you know in other mosaic patterns you attach the yarn on this end, crochet across, leave a tail, cut it off, and go back. It's just a one direction, whereas this interlocking is both directions. I love it. Oh my goodness. Now I will always continue to use the other style pattern, but do you think I'm going to start looking for more patterns that have this going on the edge? You darn tootin' I will, let me tell you. Now, let me explain to you the little hiccup I ran across. And I think I just about figured out how it's going to work, but you know, like I said, this side here is the pattern. The other thing I like about this interlocking idea is, look at that. The rows are all closed in the back, whereas with other mosaics, especially if you have long sections of single crochets, you have that little ridge, because you're working in the back loop or the front loop, depending on if you're doing single crochets or if you're doing double crochets. And so that creates little pockets here in the back. But this, no. You are constantly working through both loops of your stitch, which gives you really a very nice closed off pattern back here. And it's pretty. Look at that. I mean, it's not dramatic like the front, but that's okay, isn't it? But it's still pretty. Now, the hiccup that I ran into is up to this point, when you're going on the second row or going back to the beginning in your color, that row has really, up to this point, been worked with single crochets and chains. Well, as I am turning this around to finish out this main color here, this row calls for me to work a mosaic double crochet, which means that I'm jumping down 2 rows instead of 1 to pick up a stitch to put my double crochet in. I don't have a row. I mean, I don't know. So I may have to go back and do this main color row again to make sure that, but I mean, it all worked out. I just don't know how to describe it. It's kind of got me bumfuddled here for a moment. So I am going to have to do a little bit of research, reach out to some of my more experienced crochet folks, and just explain to me why all of a sudden now I'm going to have a double crochet on the back, whereas up to this point I've only had singles. You know what I mean? But that's okay. I mean, you know, I'm only working on this 1 week at a time, so I should have it worked out before I get back to it, or at least I hope I do. It's just got me bumfuddled, like I said, at the moment. But other than that, folks, I am really enjoying this style of mosaic. You know, one more aha moment, as we've been looking at in some of my classes. Well, my aha moment for this one is that I certainly do like the fact that I don't have, or will not have, a lot of ends to tie in, or to sew in, or to fight with covering them up whenever I put the border around it. But anyway, there she is. This is the start of my 4th blanket. I hope you're enjoying the pattern, because I do. So next week I'll get you caught up on the Bookworm blanket. I'm ready to do the next whole panel. And if you remember, it's worked in panels with one big one in the middle. So whenever you work one panel, you actually work 2. And by the time you get to that big panel, folks, you're going to have more than half your blanket done. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting that one finished. But anyway, there she is, the beginning of the Desert Cactus Mosaic. And like I said, there is a link for you down in the description box if you wish to go and purchase your own copy and crochet along with me. If you decide to do that, please, I do have a Facebook page, which is also down in the description box. Take a photo. Send me your progress. I would like to know what you think of these patterns as well. So before you skip out, please let me remind you to be sure and hit that little like button down for me. Leave me a comment as to what you think about this pattern, and maybe you have some insight into this row that's kind of got me stumped at the moment. I'd love to hear it. If this was your first time here, let me say welcome into you. I hope you stayed this long to see what it is that I'm up to. And I also encourage you to hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. Then be sure you look for that notification bell that has those cute little hugs on the side, because it'll let you know every time I upload content, especially if you are as crazy about mosaics as I am. So until the next time, folks, please always remember, be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know. Could be your light they are needing to see. I love you guys. Bye.